Dragonflight Alpha just started, and it turns out we already have pretty big hints on what could be coming out in the first patch of the new expansion 10.1. Now, this is actually really good news, because if they already dropped these hints right at the start of the alpha, it means that they more than likely are deep in development, and Blizzard did recently in interviews say that they plan to release smaller but more frequent patches for Dragonflight to really make up for the problems of the Shadowlands drought and really the disaster that was happening with the patches. So what is this new data mine information? Obviously spoilers ahead that we have from data mining, and what could be coming out in 10.1. What is this new 10.1 underground? If you guys are looking to buy licensed software like Windows 11 for the cheapest prices on the market or get games at a great discount, check out this video sponsor, Royal CD Keys. They've pretty much got everything you need, and if you use my code DORON, you can get an additional 10% off while also supporting the channel at the same time. So check out my link in the description or the QR code on the screen. Despite the alpha just coming out, we already have some decent information. We have seen multiple zones, we have seen new storylines and characters, and there have also been some really interesting hints of dragon origins and unknown dragonflight that we might yet discover, and some seriously buried ancient history that we are yet to explore as we reach the Dragon Isles. There is definitely going to be some strong time travel themes in this expansion, and the involvement of Nosdormu, Morazon, the Bronze Dragonflight, this is more than evident with us going back to the Null War and a bunch of other very ancient events from Warcraft history. So the actual information that we can speculate from is from some really interesting references found in the database. Why we know this is 10.1 related is because Blizzard literally wrote so in these files. There are some development land, development maps, cinematic tests, but most importantly, there is this item in the database known as the Dragon Isles Underground. Warning, must be kept flag development map until 10.1. I don't think I really need to explain more here. They're sort of encrypting this as development map and most likely won't reveal it soon, but it will be revealed when they reveal 10.1, which already indicates the first patch that may be coming out, which, as I said, is excellent news because they're already deep in development with this. Blizzard told us they have been working on Dragonflight before Shadowlands was even released, and it is really good news that like 6 months before release they already have the development of the patch. Now, of course, we can't really see what this development map is aside from the name, but we can definitely speculate as, well, this is a small bit of information. It is also a big amount of information at the same time as it is called Underground, and there are multiple scenarios on what this could exactly be. So, at the moment, within the community, there are a few theories that are going around, either related to the Black Dragonflight, Titans, Old Gods, or Azeroth, World Soul itself, or a mix of all those, and I gotta say, a few of these make a lot of sense and could actually be totally real. So, if you have followed the news, you might have realized that these proto-dragons are going to be a really big deal in this new expansion. The original drakes that didn't really accept the Titan gift, the gift to the aspects, and instead they believed they was all about just elemental magic and dominating the world as they're big and strong. Now, it is entirely possible that this could be related to them and these primalists, and that is really what a lot of community is speculating right now, because usually the first patch of the new expansion is not really a big hitter story reveal, but usually something to distract us, while the last two are generally where the real meat of the story is set. Because of this, I think this one is highly likely being related to the Proto-Drakes and the Primalists. However, there are other theories that make sense as well. For example, we have learned from the most recent alpha information that Black Dragonflight is going to play a really big role in this expansion. After all, you can play as the Draktyr, the elite soldiers of Deathwing that he created before the corruption, and there are these three characters that are kinda vying for taking over and rebuilding the Black Dragonflight, one of these being Vatian. As you may know, with Deathwing defeated, we thought this Dragonflight was all but destroyed, but a few Black Dragons, uncorrupted ones, remained, and now we have discovered the Draktyr, and it is entirely possible that we could discover new Black Dragons underground, which means that the Dragonflight may be be rebuilding, it could be going back to the old glory days. Now, why this theory is popular is not because, you know, dragon eggs are underground in a cave, but because the Black Dragonflight are the Earth Warders. This is why Deathwing was known as Neltharion the Earth Warder. They guard the grounds, and almost always they are in caves, caverns, and usually they're underground. You had Neltharion's lair, Onyxia's lair, the Twilight Caverns, which were influenced by black dragons, and even Nefarian himself was inside a mountain. Now, this is a bit different when you look at the red or the green Dragonflight. They generally prefer to be out in the grooves, out in the open. The Black Dragonflight with their nexuses, only maybe the bronze could be related to the underground, but realistically, the Black Dragonflight is the underground fight, and that is how Deathwing was even crafted in the first place, from under the ground, from the old god Whisperers. Now, the Black Dragonflight is a major storyline that is evident from all the information that we currently have from the alpha. There is some dispute on who should be leading it. There is obviously going to be a lot of development, and you know, they're talking about Rathian as well, so it is entirely possible that the first patch could be tied to this. It could be the introduction to the Black Dragonflight storyline and Rathian having a big role. Now, another really popular theory that I also think makes a lot of sense is the Titan theory. As you may know, the Titans also really just love to build stuff under the ground. Generally, all the forges, the laboratories, the testing grounds, the bases are always somewhere far from the mortals that are on the land, and even their creations, such as the Earthen that later turned into dwarves, love to dig things out deep under the ground and just build their own settlements underground. Pretty much any significant Titan mechanism that we have discovered or technology that we have seen has been somewhere under the ground. This is obviously for two big reasons. One is so that random people don't just barge in and disrupt the maintenance of the Titan machinery, and the other is that all of this is really tied to the Azeroth's World Soul, which is obviously deep under the ground and which seems to be strongly involved with this expansion. It is a really popular theory right now that its awakening, the final awakening of the World Soul, is really what triggered the Dragon Isles to appear after 10,000 years. If you have been following the recent news, you might know that Uldaman is going to be relevant once again in Dragonflight. It is going to be a dungeon, and you may remember Mother from BFA and other Titan forges we had encountered. They mentioned all the Titan facilities that we know of, Uldaman being one of them, and then they talked about an additional Titan facility detected. Status unknown. Recommendation: do not approach or engage. This recommendation might just be the biggest hint that this is the most important Titan facility, and seeing all these Titan Watchers, Tyr, and the Dragon aspects empowered by the Titans on these Dragon Isles, I think it is safe to say that this facility might just be located here somewhere under the ground, hidden from mortal eyes. This facility may be related to Azeroth's World Soul, which may be related to that energy that appeared to look like Azerite in the official cinematic, and it could just be related to the first batch of the new expansion. Now, the last popular theory is that this could be related to the Big Black Empire and the Old Gods, but nothing at the moment confirms this other than the fact that the Old Gods are also under the ground. It is really just a wild theory, but I wouldn't be surprised that the Old Gods might have somehow reached this, as, you know, they corrupted the Black Dragonflight, and if this really is a Titan facility of significant importance, they definitely want to get their tentacles on this thing. Unfortunately, at the same time, it is entirely possible that this could just be a smaller point of 10.1 patch. Maybe not the actual focus. This could be like a null underground dungeon somewhere below the ground, or a Primalist base, or really just not the main focal point of the patch. But honestly, I think an entire underground patch would be really a cool change of pace to keep people hooked with Dragonflight, as really all the zones that we have seen are going to be massive, open, vast, so that all the dragons can fly. So it would be kind of cool to have an underground zone. As I mentioned earlier, I don't think this 10.1 is going to be the big reveal of the Azeroth's World Soul, the Awakening, the big cosmological truth, or some crazy thing that you've been setting up for the past two expansions. It is probably going to be some sort of a filler patch, but it is entirely possible that while this could be a side story, it could start revealing the big storyline chunks to set up the main lore for Dragonflight. With the timing and the current reveals from the expansion alpha, this could be highly likely. Thank you for watching. Check out Can the Undead Finally Be Cured by clicking on the screen, and check out the Academy for videos on real world history. See you next time.